Comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Peter Koleski and Hovig and Peter, another episode of Here Comes the Money. And
I thought you were going to sing that time.
I almost
It would have
did.
been funny if you did.
Peter, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about how people feel like they need more money before they actually start to invest and actually do something or get advice, really, to be quite honest. So basically they feel
They
like they
think
need more before they can do something.
I think that the wealth management and private wealth is just for the rich.
For the exactly right. Rich, we're rich and wealthy when quite often, it's not the case.
Well, there's that saying that they say you need money to make money, right?
Yeah.
But I think that comes back down to people thinking, oh, I need a little bit more to start the process, but they don't know what the invisible money that we talk about.
Exactly right. And
most people have this invisible money.
yeah, exactly right. And when we talk about invisible money, we're talking about multiple things. The stuff that people kind of, I guess, forget about and leave aside because they feel like they can't do anything with it. It could be your superannuation, that's invisible.
Yeah, people, they think it's someone else's money because they can't touch it until they're 65.
They're 65 or 60. The equity in their home, if they have a
Oh,
home.
wait, general advice warning,
Yes,
everything we talk
always
about,
forget
we
about
don't
it.
take into account your
So
personal
just
scenario.
keep in mind, guys, general information only. Obviously, we don't know your situation, so some of the stuff we talk about today may not suit you.
Yep.
Okay? Best to get advice before you actually consider putting anything in place.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So, back to the
Yep.
invisible money. Supra, can't touch it. What else is invisible?
Look, basically, super's one. Obviously, the equity in your home is another. That's a big one there too. A lot of people don't realize that, their value might be $1 million, but they only owe 400 or 500K.
People say, what's equity?
Exactly.
And I say, how much of your house do you really own?
Exactly.
You might have $1 million house and a $400,000 or $500,000 mortgage, but $500,000 of that house is really yours. The other $500,000, the bank owns.
The bank owns. Exactly right.
But-
and that's money you can tap into.
And if you don't, the bank actually uses it if you don't use it.
Well, that's true. They
Yeah,
can.
that's not a matter for you, but
Yeah.
that's a matter. The banks have this thing called a capital creation ratio.
Yep.
So what they do is they pull up everybody's equity and they lend off that. They
Yep.
and if you don't do it yourself, they're going to do it for you.
Yeah.
But they don't give you anything for it.
No, exactly.
They just
right.
take it if it's there.
Yeah, they're going to charge you interest anyway, so you
And
might as well
that's
use
why-
the available
That's why
equity.
we have different banks with different policies and different interest
I
rates.
guess the other invisible money is the tax you pay. People don't realize that there are ways you can actually utilize those tax dollars for your investments. I mean, you can't use it for your everyday expenses and,
you
whatever.
can if you're a nurse.
Well, I mean,
There is some
people can.
industries
There's
that
small
they can
things
salary
do.
sacrifice,
But they're minor things. We're talking sort of more.
They
sort
don't
of-
make that much of a hit.
No.
It's like, it brings me to, I know it's off topic, but like novated leases and stuff. A lot of people go, I pay it with pre-tax dollars, right? But then you look at the interest rate on the damn.
Yeah, exactly
It's 10,
right.
11%.
And it's quite often a mixture of both pre and post tax, and it's not always a
And
great
it's-
option, to be honest.
I've compared them
Yeah.
side by side,
Yeah.
and I said, forget this.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly
work
right.
for you.
No, there's better
So a lot
ways.
of the
Quite
things
often
is
there are
just
better ways.
working more efficiently.
Yeah.
But coming back to what we were saying, you don't have to have $5 million in a bank account to approach someone like us and go, hey, guys, let me do. No, we deal with everyday Australians,
Yep.
often with little or no savings,
Yep.
have a house, working and going through life.
Well, our typical clients are basically everyday, like you said, everyday Australians, mums and dads. They've got a family. Some don't. Some are single, but they generally have those I guess, more simple ingredients. They don't have millions of dollars. That's not our.
90% of people, I'm going to tell you, have less than 10 or 15 grand in their bank account.
Well, yeah, some have more, but I mean, they might have 200, 300, 400K in super potentially. And when I say that, that's husband and wife or whatever partner.
Yep.
Not necessarily one person. And then they might have a home with a mortgage. But just your general sort of lifestyle expenses that everybody has, that your everyday Australians have. And we obviously show them what ingredients they have.
Yep.
Identify what they're trying to achieve, and then basically reverse engineer and look at strategies on how to get there.
Yep.
And we've set up our obviously our company structure where we can help them with different parts of their situation. They may not need everything at once,
Yep.
So sometimes you might just need to look at their home loan or consolidating or whatever it might be. But sometimes it's a lot more sort of in depth where we're looking at super, and there might be self-managed super or not. Could be anything really.
Yeah, so as far as that invisible money concept goes, you people have time.
Yeah.
They've got tax dollars. They've
Yep.
got equity. They've got super.
Yep.
Well, the ingredients are all there.
Yeah.
The recipe's often very, very wrong, though.
Exactly.
So
They
often
just don't use those bits of invisible money that they could be.
because they're waiting. They're waiting until they save another 50 grand before they go speak to somebody like us. But it's the wrong thing to do because
Yep.
we could go with a proper finance structure, put prudent investments in place, save tax, do this, pay off the mortgage quicker, and snap our fingers and have 30 grand sitting in your offset account because we did some sort of a debt recycling structure with a safety buffer.
Exactly.
But it's just like, okay, so maybe I should go talk to these people now. And it's not to say that it's for everyone.
No.
We're not out there,
No,
but we're just
it's
here
not.
to talk about invisible money because invisible money means different things to different people.
Yeah.
It means something else to my wife as well, invisible money. Hopefully she's not listening to this. Credit cards are
Very
bad.
brave man. Very brave man. We might cut that part out.
No, it's okay. You leave that in there.
All right.
God bless her. She tries her best, but she does the hard work. And you
Yeah.
know, all I do is when you love what you do, Pete, you never work another day in your life.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I love
Yeah.
what we do. We help
Yeah.
people and we do
Yeah.
these things. But again, we're here. These episodes are made to unpack and unbox and help people see different ingredients that they have right
Yeah.
under their nose, and then go, hey, maybe I should talk
Yeah.
to these guys and go and put these things into place. So at the moment, when we're talking about the invisible money, and you don't have to be rich to get the advice, look, what's the worst thing you could do, Pete? It's really to do nothing, isn't it? And let these things procrastinate.
I personally think 90% of the time, basically doing nothing could be worse than actually doing something, you know, even if it's small incremental, improvements in your situation, you know, reviewing the home loan, checking the interest rate, making an extra repayment, even if it's $50, if it's that tight. But quite often what we find when we sit with the clients and we really pull things apart and we look at the living expenses, we look at where they're at, quite often we can find more money that they're basically just blowing.
So I'll cast your mind back.
Yeah.
Sorry to stop what you were saying.
That's all right.
I'll use clients, but surname initial, so it's for privacy.
Yeah.
Mike B.
Okay.
Comes to us, goes, I don't know if I can do anything.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's what, 6-7 years ago? I don't know if I
Around
can
that.
do anything.
Yeah.
I don't have any savings. I don't even have a home. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Renting,
Yeah.
Like Mike B come here.
Great income, but
Great
just
income.
wasn't
Yeah, he
using
had
it.
that running for him.
Yeah.
But now Mike B's got one property. He
Multiple
bought another
investments, I
one.
think,
Yeah. And then I think they've moved in, or they were going to sell. You saw them last year
Yeah.
because you know how we do the review
Yes,
every
yes,
year.
yes. Yeah.
Where is he up to now? Because I haven't spoken to him
You
in
just caught me
over
on
a
the
couple.
spot. I don't remember exactly. To be honest, I'll have to check that.
Yeah, but I can tell you he's at least $700,000 better off
No doubt, if not more.
from not doing. Because if
Yeah.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt, and I said, okay, he never met us,
Yeah.
and he just kept doing what he's doing. Well, in another 7 years, if he just kept renting, because we actually got him into the property market, he was paying back then about $600 a week rent. I'm sure the rent will be much more now.
Yeah.
But $600 a week, let's say over a year's $30,000 a year, times 7 is $210,000. So you say, how much would he have lost if he just kept on renting for 7 years?
Yeah.
210. No, he didn't lose. He wouldn't have lost because the property markets have gone up by at least $700,000 in the same.
Yeah.
So he would have lost almost $900,000 by doing nothing. But he did something, and instead of being down 200, he's up by 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly
that's
right.
a $900,000 turnaround
Not
if you
to
look at it
mention,
that way.
from memory, I think it was paying like 70, 80K in tax every year.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically the average earnings for a lot of people in Australia.
That's one, and then another one that reminds me is, and I look back quite fondly on a lot of these stories. Paul M.
Yep.
4 kids, teacher, came to me. I've got 4 kids. Don't know if I can do anything. I've still got a mortgage. You know, I've got super, and not too dissimilar from where we are. And I'll try not to use specifics, but now we've got. Paul said he wants to have build a legacy to hand on something to his kids. So now we've got 1, 2, 3. We're on our 4th. So we haven't quite done the 4th property yet for the 4th kid, but Paul started out and he was 50, early 50s, and every year he comes and drops me a bottle of scotch now. So
Can we share that scotch next time?
It's sometimes by the time you get in the office,
Too late. It's too late.
No,
That's what's in his cup. If anyone's watching, just kidding.
but look, Paul, he wasn't waiting. He wasn't, he wasn't the wealthy guy that had to start. Neither was Mike. Neither was like all of these different examples I can give you. These guys didn't have much to start with, but what you need to look at is what can be done with what you have right now.
Correct. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it doesn't
right.
hurt. You give us a call.
And for some of you,
make some inquiries.
it's going to be different for different people, as you can obviously agree on. But for some people, it's going to be a lot more, and for some people, it's going to be less. But it's still better than nothing.
Just
to your point, it's
yeah.
the fact that it's not it's what you could be losing by not doing it.
Do me one favor. Do not ask ChatGPT what to do.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Be very careful. Very careful.
Because it depending on what you prompt that
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
it does not know what the hell.
Yeah.
We've actually tried it. And some of the stuff that comes out, you don't want to do. And look, if someone says to you, Peter, go use your equity, go buy an investment property.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be right in concept. But how many different lenders is there? How many different finance structures?
Exactly.
How many different areas is there to invest?
Exactly.
What sort of criteria is there? How many different variables are there,
Yeah.
right, that aren't available all in data streams
Yeah.
that ChatGPT can think about?
Exactly.
So, conceptually, it might go, do this. But it's like me going, Pete, go cook me bacon next, but I didn't tell you how I want my eggs cooked.
Exactly right.
You're going to stuff it up every time.
Well, that's exactly
Do you
right.
like that analogy?
Yeah, that was
Like,
another good
I
one.
want poached eggs with béarnaise sauce.
I'll work on
crispy
that
bacon
tomorrow.
You were going to give me like a sunny side up
Scrambled.
on a piece of toast.
No, I was going to scramble.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I was just going to throw those right. Look, at the end of the day, it's about taking the right advice and doing it as soon as possible and not discounting yourself. And that's what we're talking about today.
Right. You don't assume that you can't do anything because you feel like there's not enough there. You know, it's always beneficial to ask. If you don't ask, you obviously never get. And you know, quite often from our experience, there's always something that can be done. Okay, and if there isn't, we'll tell you well and truly up front, so you're not wasting your time and effort. You know, on nothing.
Yeah. There's no shame in asking a question, but there is shame in not asking.
Fair enough.
So you can't be scared to put your hand up.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my son.
Yeah.
I say you gotta put your hand up in class. There's no shame in asking a question.
Yeah.
But I said there is shame in you keeping your hand down and not asking, because 90% of your class wants to ask the same question.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
just too embarrassed to put their hand up.
True. That's true.
So I said you got to put your hand up,
Yeah.
and then once you do it and the teacher answers the question, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not the only one that's asking that. And I think, you know, out there, what have we got in Australia? 25 million Australians now, right? 25, 28, where our population, Melbourne's going to be the biggest city in Australia in 10 years.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is 63% of this population retires on the pension or some form of handout.
Yeah.
And the pension's not enough for people, right? But what are these statistics is that only the top 5% retire self-funded.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know how there's people, we go, oh, see, use your tax, use your equity. What have you heard some guy say to you? What's multiple times? I want to pay tax.
Yeah,
because I want to look after.
It was actually on a couple of our ads. I think we were promoting a webinar of ours, and someone said, "Oh, I enjoy contributing to the roads and the hospital system and all that." That's all fine, but I mean, you contribute. Like there's income tax you pay, superannuation contribution tax, capital gains tax, GST, fuel excise. I can keep going all bloody day.
Yeah.
So you're still going to contribute in some way, but what these people forget when they make comments like that is if you do nothing, you get to the retirement age and you're relying on the government for the age pension. So you're taking away from the hospitals and the roads and all the other bits and pieces. So help the government by helping yourself as well. You're never going to get it all back, but obviously help the government by helping yourself is the way I see it.
Look, tax law is made to be tax law for a reason.
Exactly.
It's because a time came when the government's like, okay, we can't help people.
Yeah.
They're going to help themselves. So negative gearing and things like this have been tax law for decades.
Yeah.
And the reason they're there is because we will give you a bonus tax break if you show us you're helping yourself and you can fund yourself in retirement.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you're going to
actually helping people as well by giving them homes.
Yeah, true.
You know, there's another way to look
in
at
that
it.
respect. Yeah, but I mean, negative gearing is not just for property,
No,
right?
it's not. No,
it works for any type of investment.
Exactly.
It works for companies.
Shares,
it works for PAYG, personal income taxes. But at the end of the day, the tax law is a tax law for a reason. It's to create injections into the economy.
Yep.
And the biggest leakage is obviously the pension.
Yep.
And that's why it's getting pushed out and down all the time.
Yep.
But that's why super's now being bumped up, and we get payday super, and the percentages are going up.
Yep.
What are we at? 12% now.
Yeah. I still don't think super will be enough for most people when they get there.
It's
if
too
they
little,
just
too late.
if they just assume that 12% is going to change the game for them in retirement, I think they're going to have a rude surprise when they get there.
Some industries, and I think government departments, I've seen give
17.
17.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
That's because they know.
Yeah, well,
You know,
I mean,
but
yeah.
so anyways, what I was getting back to is that person that says, I want to build the roads, or I want to build the roads too.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, you know, because we've built these roads, that's great. But the thing is, you're going to be a bigger burden on the economy if you're on the pension.
In the long term.
Yeah.
In the long term. And you're always going to contribute. You're never going to get it all back. Let's be honest. They'll always find a way to tax you in a different way. So if you can take advantage of the strategies that are available by law, why wouldn't you?
Look, there is no statement more politically correct than I've paid all my taxes. I deserve the pension. How much is it and where do I get it? Couples, $431.30 each, $860 a week.
Yeah.
Singles, $570 a week. What's 860 times 52?
Not a lot. Is that for, what was that for? That was for
a couple.
Oh, yeah.
If you're getting 860
431
times
each.
52, that's 44. If you're getting 570 as a single, it's half of what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how many of you listening can get by on 40 grand as a couple a year?
You can't even pay your rates, your
not going to
rego,
do
your
anything
fuel
too exciting.
insurance. You can't even survive.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
get
always
some
say-
concessions there, but still, it's not the game. You're not doing anything too exciting. Let's be honest.
Oh, you'd probably get rid of the car.
Yeah,
You wouldn't.
smaller house.
Well, the sad story is, you know the truth about the grey nomads? They've got the dream to go and get the caravan and go around Australia and all that. the 80% of people that are the grey nomads, they're forced into that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And what I mean by
Sell
that
the
is they've
house.
retired. They've used the super, what little they've got to buy that 4-wheel drive, buy that caravan, right? Hey, we're on our way. Next thing you know, we run out of money. We've got to sell the house to top up our fund. Now we're parked in a caravan park. We had to sell the 4-wheel drive. We don't have a 4-wheel drive anymore. We've only got enough money to survive. We're living in the caravan in a park.
Yeah.
We're a grey nomad.
Yeah, look,
It's
I mean,
a sad story, Pete.
for some, look, some people want to do that. A lot of people probably don't. But to your point, so you know,
But
it's
where
not,
did
not
we
ideal.
start? Where did we start here? We started here with invisible money, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we did. Yeah,
So right back to go to invisible money, cast your mind back and go, what could be done? Use your tax dollars, guys.
Yep.
Use your time. Use your equity. Use your super.
Yeah.
Take control of your lives
Yeah.
and do it as soon as possible.
Usually,
And I
look at
think
your
that's
cash flow. You will find there's bits of invisible money that you waste in there, no doubt. You know, I can look at 9 out of 10 people and they send me the living expenses. I can probably chop out 10, 15% a lot of the time, if not more, just on shit.
Find some people you can trust. Get some good advice. Get things started as soon as possible. I think that's the secret. And I guess that ties up another
I think so. Yeah.
excellent episode here.
Of Here Comes the Money.
Here Comes the Money.
Yeah.
With Peter and Hovig. And look, we truly help people, everyday Australians, and we hope that we've helped you guys by listening in today. So, guys, wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And thanks for
And as
listening
always, if you have any questions or anything you want to hear from us, please send us an email to info@smartmoneygroup.com.au and hopefully we can tackle them in another episode.
Yeah, or just send us an inquiry if you want to have a quick chat. We're
100%.
happy to jump on the phone because it's sometimes hard to type your whole life into an email. 10 minutes, we can talk to you and go, yep, there's areas we can help. Let's tee up a meeting or no.
Sounds good.
It doesn't cost you anything, guys. Worst case scenario, you learn something. So thanks again for listening in.
Thank you. Talk
and
soon.
off another great episode. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Hov.